folks, welcome back to Durban Africa. This is Chris once again. Hey folks, welcome back to Chris Wyatt Africa once again. This is Chris coming to you live from Central Pennsylvania. And yes, I am wearing a rugby jersey. I did change my jersey for my last couple interviews. It is indeed a Sharks jersey. That's right, with the Chelsea, not the Mr. Price label on it. So if you want to date that one. The reason I'm wearing a Sharks jersey is my special featured guest for this live stream is Emma Kelly, organizer of the Worldwide Rally for Freedom and Democracy taking place in Durban tomorrow. We just had Shabnam on the channel talking about the same rally, but we focused more on underlying issues and structural issues in South Africa. So Emma's here to talk to us about the events of tomorrow. Emma, are you on?
I'm here, Chris. Hi. Thanks
hey,
for having me.
That's my pleasure. Listen, folks, just so you're wondering, you can't see the lovely Emma because she's got a phone that probably could use a replacement, and so she can't see very clearly, and her image comes out poorly. So you're going to hear her audio, but she is on the channel with me in a Zoom session. In fact, I could yeah, there we go. So just checking us something. So anyway, so Emma, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on the program. Thanks for coming on short notice, and also confusion on my part and about when we had you scheduled or we had you scheduled, but you were very flexible. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, that worked out much better for me because obviously the day before the event, I've been extremely busy. So that worked out fine. Thanks, Chris.
No, it's my pleasure to actually. The only concern I have with getting people on the evening is that we want to get the word out to people. But I think at this point we've probably reached as many people as we're probably going to reach in time for tomorrow. So let me ask you this question, Emma. How did you get involved in this? Are you an activist? Are you a lawyer? Are you a political party member? What if you can share?
I'm an activist, and I've actually had already planned to do the global 5G protest, which is something that I have not missed one of those yet. It fell on the same date. So there is also the global 5G protest happening all over the world on the same date. And when I saw the worldwide freedom demonstration, I'm like, well, we're going to have a lot more people wanting to go to the freedom rally, and for all the reasons that we all are here for, the unconstitutional lockdowns. So I decided to combine the two and host it together here in Durban.
Well, actually, that raises a very good point for you, Emma. And that's I've talked to several people around the country. Yassine in Cape Town, Debbie Ells, who's going up to Pretoria, even though she's from Cape Town, to organize that one. Also had on Saskia Langeveld, who's participating in the rally there, and then just had another guest on from Durban. So I've had people from all over the country come out. It seems to be a wide variety of people from across all sectors of society in South Africa and different organizations and individuals who have decided to participate in this or support this. And is that what you're seeing as well? Are you getting a lot of different groups that want to be part of this or this rally tomorrow?
Yes, totally. I mean, we are facing worldwide. We are facing so many issues, from the lockdowns, from 5G, from vaccines, from forced mask wearing, which is actually giving people bacterial pneumonia. There are so many issues that we are facing, and this is a day where we can stand up and educate the people who actually don't understand what is going on, because you see a lot of people, they believe what the TV tells them. They don't actually know the truth of matters, unfortunately. The rest of us who speak about such things, which we've done a lot of research on with doctors and scientists, and basically we're standing up tomorrow, to air all of these views, because we're not conspiracy theorists. We've actually put a lot of time, and the people, we've all, through this last year, we've all lost a lot. there's millions of us in the same boat. I mean, I lost my home last year. My daughter and I lost our home because I couldn't work during lockdown because of the lockdown regulations. And you know, it's like there's millions of us who are in the same boat. Well, I'll say not the same boat. We're in the same storm, but we're not all in the same boat.
Fair point. That's a good point. Yep. Same storm. Yeah. Well, you know, you talk about, you know, people mention conspiracy theorists. Listen, conspiracy theorists or not, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I don't truck those things. But you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to realize that we've lost our civil liberties, and our freedom of speech, our freedom of assembly, our freedom of worship has been just truncated around the world. We've seen bizarre cases of a pregnant woman in New South Wales who posted on Facebook, "Hey, you should go out tomorrow and support this rally." And she was arrested. They went into her home. She was on her way for an ultrasound. They arrested her, put her in handcuffs, and took her to jail.
I saw that.
And then
I saw that.
Then you have the situation in which, you know, snitches get stitches in Scotland, where police bang on a family's door in the evening and then walk in the doorway to the couple there and demand to know where the people are hiding in their home, because apparently neighbors reported that they had more people in their home than were authorized under COVID restrictions. And so they come into the home, they assault this couple. It's all caught on video by their autistic son and by their daughter. And then they attack the children and push them to the ground. And no uproar about this. And now we have in Canada, we have a priest who's been arrested because his church has had more than 15% occupancy. He's put in jail, exposed potentially to COVID, and locked up indefinitely. He's in jail until May rather than give him bail because he refused to accept the conditions where they told him he couldn't preach, and his freedom of religion was being suppressed in Canada. This is happening all over the world, and we've seen things like this in South Africa too. In
South Africa, that happened. Yeah, they actually opened fire, even though it may have been rubber bullets, but we had that situation here in South Africa. You know, it is absolutely shocking what is going on, and the governments globally. It's about time they actually realize that, you know, they are actually the 1% and we're the 99%, and the power of the people is stronger than the people in power, which is why we need to stand together.
What I think is interesting about this is that there's virtually no coverage of this event, no mainstream media coverage of this event. That it's being virtually a media blackout. The one article I found about it in Western Press, which admittedly is a couple of days ago and I haven't been looking since then, was from Newsweek magazine. And Newsweek magazine portrayed this as an LMNO, I have to use code words so I don't get in trouble because I'm not advocating, but LMNOP anonymous, right-wing cabal of white supremacists who are anti-vaxxers, who are a bunch of nutters, who are opposed to everything. That's basically what Newsweek said this was. But I've interviewed many people now, and virtually every one of them has talked about this from a standpoint of the intrusion on our civil liberties, our human rights, and our God-given rights, our inalienable rights that are being suppressed. Am I missing something? Is that why you're involved in this?
No, you know what? I've also done a little bit of research, and funnily enough, there are a whole bunch of other organizations that are Soros funded, that are also planning to do rallies and protest actions on the same day. Black Lives Matter, Antifa. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't heard about it. They're also doing rallies. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, so there are concerns that, you know, they might try to interrupt our peaceful assemblies in the various countries that are taking place in this. I mean, I'll actually send you some links.
Please do. This is something I was unaware of. That's not being widely reported. Maybe it's in social media. Emma, are you there? I lost Emma. She had load shedding scheduled, folks, for 8 p.m. I wonder if it's already kicked in. Wow. Wow, that's pretty crazy. I don't know if load shedding has kicked in or what's happened there, but I've lost Emma, it sounds like. She's quiet. I can't hear her. Emma, if you're still there, just check, make sure your mic didn't go on silent. Oh, there you are. You're back. Oh, she's back.
Hey.
You're back. Emma, I didn't hear anything you said for the last 30 seconds. It sounded like you got load shedding already. Are you back?
I'm here. Sorry, I think someone was trying to call me.
That's
Sorry
probably
about
that's all right. It's probably well, yeah. That your phone probably overrode your Zoom session.
load shedding starts at 8 o'clock,
Right.
so
That's what I was telling
we've got
people.
15 more minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
So you were saying, but we mentioned that apparently BLM and Antifa and others are going to also hold rallies. I assume counter rallies to this.
Well, it's what they like to do, isn't it? They like to cause chaos and
No, no, no.
disruption.
Come on, come on. Listen, our dear exalted leader, Bo Jiden, has told us that Antifa is just an idea. It's not a domestic
Oh,
terrorist organization.
really?
It's not a domestic terrorist organization, which was the U.S. government has declared them to be. It's just an idea. Just an idea. I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah. He's quite a piece of work, that one.
Well, I call him affectionately the Manchurian cadaver.
Yes, I heard.
Yikes. Yeah. So okay. So here's another thing we should mention is too. These are lawful, authorized assemblies of citizens around the world, and it's a peaceful assembly. That's what this is all about. Correct?
Well, peaceful, definitely. We can't say that all of the events have actually been
Sanction.
approved.
Okay. Approved. Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's our human rights to do what we're doing and to stand up for our rights. So we actually don't really need to ask permission, but we've had quite a few hiccups along the way. Basically it's like we're going forward and we'll deal with the consequences afterwards. We might have to have a post-protest party to deal with fines or bail money or whatever, but I don't foresee Durban having problems. We've got a really good plan in place, and we've got some really good people on board. So.
Well, let me ask you this question. I've asked this to all my guests, and let me make a sort of a statement of my view on it, and then get your take on it. And the reason I think it's very important to mention for Durban because of past protests, but past recent protests, particularly about Place Mord, farm murders, and such. But when it comes to success for this event, because of limitations on crowd size and gatherings in many places around the world, also the total blackout in mainstream media not even talking about this event, the difficulty organizing it. I have been telling people that a mark of success is not 100,000 people showing up, in a square somewhere protesting. It's the fact that people are doing this globally coordinated for the same reasons all over the world in at least 85 countries. I think that's a mark of success. If we have large crowds, that's fantastic. But if you see 100 people gathered in a place, don't take that as a sign of a failure. Now, the reason I mention this for Durban is that when it's come to recent protests, and I've covered things like the biker rally in Pretoria and around the country, there wasn't much going on in Durban. Farm murder protests, we don't see them show up in Durban. So I don't know if people in Durban are complacent, or maybe that's a false impression. What are you hoping for tomorrow, and what do you think a mark of success is?
I'll tell you, that's a very interesting question, Chris, because regarding, complacency in Durban, I mean, we've been doing different events and protests over the years, and it is very difficult to get the Durbanites out.
Yep.
But this one seems to be a little different because people are now tired of everything that has happened in the past year. They are actually starting to wake up, and there really is a mass awakening going on around the planet. And I kind of also think that's why they're trying to speed up with this agenda that they have, because, and they really, I mean, we're facing serious censorship. They're trying to silence so many of us. I mean, as I told you before, they shut down my Facebook account because I'm very outspoken on 5G. And now I might mention 5G has had a very speedy rollout during lockdown while we are under curfew. And funnily enough, well, it's not funny, but the symptoms, and I will send you links, this is medical facts, the symptoms of radiation illness or microwave sickness are okay, there are many, but a lot of them are very similar to the flu. Now, you might have noticed all of a sudden, the flu, it's a miracle. The flu has been eradicated.
Yeah,
Everything is COVID
there's
now.
virtually no reporting of influenza deaths around the world
Do you
this
know what I
past season.
mean?
Yep.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
Yep.
But yeah, but it is looking Durban, we are expecting quite a good turnout. I was called into an emergency meeting with our officials a couple of days ago, who they were all very helpful on Metro, but we still were not granted a permit by the city, which doesn't fall under the Metro.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've taken the decision. We are going ahead. We do have a lot of support. And I think this is going to be quite a historic day for Durban as well as for the rest of the world.
Well, it should be interesting, and like I said, and you followed up my comments there. I mean, it seems to be very difficult to get Durbanites to get out and protest about anything of late. So hopefully, this will be something that has better traction. And by the way, I got to ask this question, Emma. What's the deal here? Is it like the ladies' club? I mean, almost everyone organizing these things I've spoken to is a woman. Very few men. What's going on with that? The women seem to be running the show.
Hey, we're rising, hey?
Apparently,
there are a lot of, there are a lot of guys also behind the scenes supporting us all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the matriarchs are showing their faces.
Well, it's definitely seems to be that way because there's been not just a majority, but an overwhelming majority of women that have been involved in organizing these events across South Africa. At least I haven't been looking at other countries. My focus in South Africa. So tomorrow, when this happens, have you ever organized something like this before? Because as a military officer, when we do something, we plan for, first aid, emergency, this, that, and the other, every contingency. Is this something you've had to consider? I mean, or is it something you've been involved before? Because for a lot of people who start organizing events like this, a lot of these things kind of like, whoa, I hadn't thought about that. What about in your case? Is this something you've been involved in before that you already kind of thought through things like that?
Yes, well, I am an event organizer. I've been involved with events like the Global Peace Party Earth Dance, which is a global peace festival that happens every year, also in a lot of countries simultaneously, and involved in quite a few protests, albeit small here in Durban, But yeah, no, I've been involved in organizing events for a very long time. So yeah, we do have medical backups and safety plans and everything in place.
So I've got to ask you this question. You are in Durban. Have you ever been on Wyatt Street in Durban?
I'm not sure if I have actually.
It's only.
I'm not a Durban.
Oh, you're not a Durbanite.
I'm not a Durbanite.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were. Okay.
No, I've been here for the past 10 years. I'm actually Irish. But I grew up traveling, and we left England when I was
gonna
18.
Okay, so you're ethnically Irish.
Australia when I was 14.
So you're ethnically Irish, but you were born in England and then lived in Australia.
No, I was born in South Africa. My dad is a jazz musician, was Irish.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And I came back to South Africa when I was 16. We actually got deported from Australia after we moved off the boat. We overstayed our welcome by a few years.
Oops.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I'm where I'm supposed to be,
Okay, well, I got kind of confused when you say you're Irish. You're ethnically Irish, but I mean, you're not from Ireland. I don't hear that Limerick in your voice, That's
I've only been there once. I've only been to Ireland once. I'm really looking forward to going back and meeting a lot of family members I've never met, actually, one day when everything gets better.
Okay, so I've been to Ireland many more times than you have. Yeah. Actually, I have Irish ancestry as well. My Irish ancestors came over in the 1840s, before and right after the potato famine, so around that time frame. Yeah, it's. I was just curious about that because you threw me off there for a second when you said you're Irish. But yeah, so did you celebrate? Yeah. Did you celebrate St. Patrick's Day on Wednesday?
St. Patrick's Day was a very busy one for me. I didn't really have time for celebrations.
That's what I figured.
This past few weeks have just been chaos. And actually, I don't know if you know about EHS, which is called electro. It's an acronym for electro hypersensitivity, which is we're the people who have electro hypersensitivity. We're like the canaries in the coal mine.
Yeah.
Regarding electromagnetic frequencies. So I'm sitting here actually with my hands are pretty burnt because I've been using the technology quite a bit. Talking about the electrosensitivity, we've had reports and they're turning 5G on all over the place. And one of my colleagues who's going to be one of the speakers at the event, Tracy Lee Dorney, she's the founder of the Electromagnetic Radiation Research Foundation of South Africa. Mm-hmm. We've basically had reports all over South Africa of people experiencing very serious microwave illness symptoms recently. So one of the doctors that is in the alliance, I mean, we've been working very hard to raise awareness about this subject for quite some time. He has created an EMF questionnaire, which we're pushing out to get people to fill in, because this can actually help us in fighting for the rollout of safe technology. You know, we need fiber. We don't need 5G. 5G was actually created as a military for battleground purposes, and the amount of evidence, scientific and medical, is but we're being silenced. Doctors and scientists are being silenced. The evidence is there, even evidence with already 2G and 3G and 4G. 5G is a completely different story. So that's been my focus for quite a few years already. And as, like I said before, people will believe mainstream media. They'll look at us as conspiracy theorists. I mean, we're dealing with doctors, incredible scientists. People just, it's like they're under this mass hypnosis. They actually, like I said, they watch their box, television, and they believe everything that comes out of it, and they don't bother to even read the research and the facts that we put in front of them. But there is a growing awareness now, which is really needed, because people are getting very harmed, and they're putting up a lot of satellites. Also today was the Global Stop 5G satellite protest, because there's millions of wireless antennas on Earth. Okay, there's tens of thousands of satellites filling our skies. Mm-hmm. And it's not just harm to humans, it's to all biological life. And this radiation is inescapable. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a very important thing that we're dealing with here, which these points will be raised at our event in Durban. We've got quite a few experts speaking on the subject.
So there's a question here from Wolf K, if I can get to it. And what he wanted to know was, where exactly is this taking place in Durban tomorrow, for people interested, so we know?
It's the meeting point, the start off where the speakers will be, is at the skate park in North Beach, Durban, on the beachfront.
Okay. All right. Is there an issue with parking or something like that, or that people need to worry about?
There's plenty of parking. People can go and park at behind Suncoast Casino. There's a lot of parking along the beachfront.
Okay.
Best to get there early so they get a good spot.
And what's the kickoff time in Durban?
Well, there's going to be the authorities didn't like this. They hit me up about permits, etc., etc. But there's going to be a slow drive with a bunch of bikers and cars, which is leaving from the Suncoast Casino, the empty lot behind the Suncoast Casino. They're meeting up at 9:30. That slow drive will happen along the Durban beachfront road, and while the bikers are doing their drive, we will be starting up everything and gathering at the skate park, where we will have our speakers talking. Then we will be walking down the beachfront and heading back. We were initially going to have the musicians and the rest of the speakers at the skate park, but just to be safe, I actually made a plan B, and we will be having the second part of the day with the musicians and more speakers at the Joint Jazz Cafe, which is just a couple of 100 meters from the skate park.
Okay, well, that's very helpful for
So
people to
we've got
understand.
some of South Africa's best reggae bands and artists, and just an amazing amount of speakers. Bear in mind, load shedding is going to kick off in about 30 seconds, guys.
Yeah.
And then my Wi-Fi is going to cut.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So I just want to wrap it up here. Yeah. So yeah, and you mentioned you've got musicians coming, and they've got those in Pretoria and elsewhere. So thanks a lot. Listen, Emma, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I'll make sure I send you the link in case you want to call in, Zoom in without your video, obviously, during the events tomorrow. You're probably too busy for that, but I'll make sure you have it just in case.
No, we've got people with drones. We've got some drone footage for you, and we would love to jump in and we'll introduce you to a few people on the ground.
All right. Well, I will send you the Zoom link later today or tonight, probably while you're asleep, and then because I'm up at 3:30 streaming this, and then you'll have it and you'll be able to pop in. And I'm just going to bring people in throughout the stream. I'm not sure how long I'm going to go, but I'm going to go for at least 2 or 3 hours. I was planning on 4 hours, but the Bloemfontein event is up in the air now. That was the later one, so there you go. Anyway, well, thanks a lot for coming on. I really appreciate your flexibility and adjusting to the schedule. So, any final words about tomorrow's event you'd like to share with people? Oh, and she's gone.
Hello?
Oh, you're there. You're there.
I'm here. No, somebody was trying to call me. My phone doesn't stop.
No, I said, so any final words you'd like to share about tomorrow's event with people, and then we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah, guys, it's time. Let's all stand up for our rights and use our voices. Because at the end of the day, as I like to say, many hands make light work. And we've got this. It's time for us to stand up together and explain to the establishment that they actually do not have rights over us to impose everything that they have been. We won't accept it.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you very much for that, Emma. So tomorrow, the 20th of March, 2021 in Durban, looking forward to that event. We'll look to hear from you tomorrow. I'll make sure I get you that link. Thanks a lot for being my guest, Emma. I really appreciate your flexibility, and we'll chat with you tomorrow, okay?
Great. Thanks so much, Chris. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
All right. Cheers. I'll let her drop out of the stream right there. And that's, let me put, okay, there we go. And that's it, folks. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Now, I have a possibility I might get Tuli Kumala back. Apparently, she's okay. What's going on? Hang on a second. For something, my WhatsApp is acting up here. I don't know why. But let me just check on something here real quick and see if she's responded back on WhatsApp. I had heard from her, and she said, she was busy doing some final coordination in Soweto, so she missed our appointment earlier. I'm waiting to hear back from her. If she comes back, I'll do an interview. But in the meantime, that's it for now, folks. Hey, Sally, glad to see you like Emma. Appreciate that. Teresa Gardour says, greetings from London. London, England? Good old London, England. Well, welcome to you. Welcome to the land of a mayor that seems to think that he can control how many knives you can have. What's the new law? I know that they had all kinds of new laws on the table they're looking at in the UK. What's the new law you're sharing there, Teresa, if you don't mind sharing us which one you're talking about? But anyway, folks, I will have one more stream today. This is what, third, fourth stream I've had today. I'll have a stream at 9:35 South Africa, Botswana, Namibia time, at 15:35 Eastern Standard Time with cowboy action shooters from Wyoming. That's right, folks. The guys who were with me last September doing the competition with Winchester rifles and with sidearms, shooting at targets, they'll be on here. 10 years jail for protesting. Yeah, I heard about that. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. So, they give people life in the UK for murder, but life is 15 years. So you can murder someone and take their life away and spend 15 years in jail. But if you protest, this is the land of the Magna Carta. You go to jail for protesting? Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Listen, folks, if you're new to the stream, you're not a subscriber, hey, why don't you become one of Chris Wyatt Africa, at least until we get banned? We have no reason for being banned. We don't propagate any nonsense. We don't tolerate any nonsense here, but that doesn't really matter in today's world. It is mad. It is mad. But if you're not a subscriber, why don't you guys become a subscriber to Chris Wyatt Africa? Check out the streams. We have something for everybody on here. Not our coverage isn't exclusively in Africa, although it's a lot on Africa. Also cover the U.S., China, and other events taking place around the world. And yes, I talk about Bojo too. As a political conservative, I've been dismayed at Boris Johnson, particularly since he contracted Charlie 19. After getting Charlie 19, he seems to have lost his mind. He seems very confused about life, and he certainly isn't conservative. Yeah, I heard about that. So I didn't know it was passed, though. Anyway, yeah, so Bojo must go. Hashtag Bojo must go. Absolutely. The Tories have lost the right to govern that they were granted by voters. It's disgraceful. They had historic victories in the Midlands, winning constituencies never won by the Tory party, always won by Labour since they were created back in the 1930s. An amazing result in the last election, and look what they've done with it. They sat around forever waiting to get to Brexit instead of doing it immediately. Utter nonsense. And now look what they've also done. They're suspending civil liberties, coming up with draconian things, while the authorities in the UK allow young English girls to be sex slaves in the Midlands because they're afraid of being called racist, because they have no moral courage and fiber. Thousands of young girls cover it up for years before it's finally exposed, and hundreds of South Asians are locked up for their sex slave activities right there in England, leaving English girls prey for criminals. While they allow things like that, they're going to arrest you for going to a demonstration. Absolutely nuts. It's crazy, folks. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, all our leaders lost the right to authority. I think that's pretty true for a lot of folks. Yep. Yep. Bojo's a snake, says Stronger Together. Yeah, I think so. He's definitely captured, Vutsarko. I agree with that. Definitely captured. And it's such a disappointment. I covered the, not online because I wasn't streaming that, but I covered the elections when Bojo and the British party came to power, and it's so disappointing to see what has happened in that country. Very disappointing. I think it speaks volumes about what we're facing around the world, folks. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you're not a subscriber, hey, please become one. Appreciate it. And I'll be back in about an hour and 30 minutes at 9:35. So that would be South Africa time. That would be 8:35 in Germany, 7:35 in the UK. Since we got some UK viewers on here other than Hendo. We haven't had many UK viewers of late. We've got people in the UK, but they're in Scotland, so they're not in England, but not many people in England. So 7:35 in England, and then also here at 3:35 Eastern Standard Time, coming back with the Cowboy Action Shooter. It's going to be a little more relaxed, chilling mode. So please join us for that, folks. Those that don't follow the script are eliminated. Yeah, well, I can attest to that. I can attest to that. Anyway, folks, that's going to be it. I'm going to call it there. And thank you all for following us from stream to stream. I've been stream hopping today, which wasn't the intent, but that's kind of what's happened. So 34 likes, 40 people currently watching. Those of you who haven't liked the button or haven't liked the stream, could you push the like button? I appreciate that. Anyway, we'll catch you guys back here in a bit. All right, thanks a lot. And I think the Cowboy Action Shooters should be interesting. These are nice guys. They're real cowboys. If you want to see real cowboys on the screen, you don't have to go to Hollywood. Come right to Chris Wyatt Africa. We'll catch you here in a little bit, folks. And with that, I'm going to end this stream and thank my guest, Emma Kelly, for sharing with us what's going on in Durban tomorrow. Really appreciate her support there and appreciate your support and your patronage. God bless and thanks a lot.